The moon is bright. The spirit's up. We're here tonight, and it's this week's episode of the.
It's my baby.
I trained you guys so well.
That's good.
Hope everyone had a fantastic Christmas as we move forward here with this week's edition of the Bench Mob. I am Tim Daniel, very, very excited for this week's episode to be kind of talking a little shop and talking some hoops. A little quick and easy one today. Not too much to talk about because of Christmas Day games, but we do have the four of us here. We have our excellent panel. So I am here as always with my pal Sean Mackey.
What's going on, Tim? Did you get
How are
anything
you,
good
buddy?
for Christmas?
I did. I got new bourbon glasses.
Ooh,
Very nice.
Okay.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm. Shouts to the wife on the new
I'll have
bourbon
to
glasses.
Over and hit some with you, buddy.
Yeah,
Very
absolutely.
nice.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I liked it. We got my man 100 grand, Mr. Ben Brown.
What's going on, gentlemen? I hope everybody had a happy Christmas. I'll say this. You can tell when you're coming of age. Like, I was excited. I got a grill cover
Ooh.
for the Blackstone. So I was like, you know what I mean? We got steak knives. I'm living big out here. Let's do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when you start getting adult gifts, like, I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
Real
Like,
adult stuff.
Yeah, you
Yes.
know what I mean? I'm like, you don't
Yep.
need a good set of steak knives. Like, that's what we need. You know
We
what I
got
mean?
we got a new rice maker, and
Oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah,
I did.
So
I did get an Alexa. I think that's I understand now.
Oh
I
yeah,
understand.
you got the Alexa.
Yeah, I got the Echo.
I could have
Show.
gave you.
Okay.
I have so I got 2 Alexas in the mail that were sent to me by I don't know who, a couple like last year, and I'm skeptical that it might be the Chinese government trying to listen in on me. So I've never plugged them up, and I don't know where they came from, and if anyone wants them, they're yours.
All right. All right. Yeah. And of course,
No
our
idea.
Our fourth part of our panel here, Ben, please do the honors.
Absolutely, my man, my brother, my ace buku, my number one, Joshua Odellis, Forellis, Montellis, Overzealous, Hayes. What's good, my brother?
What's going on, man? Happy to be here. I've been listening to you guys talk about Christmas presents, and my Christmas is always a little bit different because my firstborn was born on Christmas Day, so
Oh yeah.
we actually enjoy watching him open up gifts more so than anything else. And this year was his 16th birthday, so we tried to do something to impress him. And I didn't think so because he's a very chill kid. Like, he doesn't get excited. He doesn't. But I felt like we got him this year. We bought him a gold chain, and it definitely was gleaming around his neck, and he had a little smirk on his face. So I was happy to see that. So that made my Christmas.
That's awesome. I love it, man. That's so
Very
great
nice.
to hear.
Very
Also,
nice.
former at-large bid host, still good friend of the network, Ryan Luster also has a Christmas Day birthday.
Yes,
so
he does.
give some love to Luster.
Yes, he does.
Give a nice
Happy
B-Day,
B-Day.
my man,
Absolutely.
for sure. So, Josh, I'm so happy that you got to have that celebratory mode because I feel like to this week's show, with the topics and segments, were made for you this week. I feel like this is your week to shine with these topics and discussions because you got some good ones that you brought up in the meetings. But this one is very close to your heart because I know of the four of us, you're the one that cares about the Brooklyn Nets the most. I know you're one that was really high on them. You love the trio of KD, Kyrie, and Harden. Well, last night, James Harden put on a game for the ages, gets back off the COVID list, plays 39 minutes, has a triple-double with 36 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, was an unbelievable playmaker. Just was fantastic. Everything he did, man. He set up Nick Claxton for that dunk on LeBron.
I'm about to say, why is Nick Claxton not on the picture? That's what I'm asking.
And I mean, my man was out there playing with DeAndre Bembry, Blake Griffin, Patty Mills is incredible. So I'm not keep putting him in that list because he was amazing. But this was literally the Brooklyn Nets last night. The starters were James Harden, Bruce Brown, Patty Mills, Nick Claxton, DeAndre Bembry, with James Johnson, Langston Galloway, Javon Carter, and Blake Griffin all getting 10 plus minutes. And James Harden still put up a night like this. So Josh, we bring you in with topic number 1. As our guy here who's a fond of the James Hardens, you and Kyle Brandon are probably the only ones on the network that are. Is James Harden back? Was this just kind of a flash in the pan?
Well, James Harden is hard to figure out because last year when he got traded from Houston to do the Nets, he mysteriously lost like 45, 50 pounds like overnight. He was the reason that the Nets went on that long winning streak they went on last year. Like he was playing out of his mind. Like they were talking about him winning MVP or being in consideration for MVP. And I will be honest, the Nets were the best looking team in the playoffs until he got hurt. This year it seems like it's kind of the same. I think the gripe about is Kyrie going to play? Is he not going to play? Was kind of hard for everybody to solidify themselves with the exception of KD because I feel like KD's the alpha and he's like, just give me the ball and I'm going to score. So I still felt like James Harden was trying to find his role with the team. And obviously with KD out last night, we were able to see the old James Harden, which we saw in Houston a lot, where he's got the ball in his hands. He's a playmaker. But I think he learned a lot from Steve Nash last year, and it seemed like he was a lot more under control with the ball. He had 4 turnovers, but one of them was he got his pocket picked pretty bad by Horton Tucker. But other than that, I felt like he took really good care of the ball. Like he wasn't taking
Horton
any.
Tucker in the balls.
He did. It was payback. I didn't feel like he was trying to force anything. He looked very fluid. He wasn't complaining about the changing of the foul calls and stuff like that. And I felt like he just played his game. He looked like the old James Harden.
But is he back or just kind of back?
I think he's back.
But back.
I think he's back until KD.
That's what I'm looking for, Josh. That's what I'm looking for.
I think he's back until KD gets back.
All right. Anyone have a rebuttal? Any conversation? Anyone want to add to this before we go to the next segment?
Yeah, I think it's tough for him. I still think he's trying to find because for so long he had to be the guy, and for so long he was used to playing his style, his way. I still think that when KD comes back, I still think it's a little bit difficult for him to play the same way that he has been when he's been gone. I'm hoping that he plays at this high level because watching James Harden last night play was a lot of fun.
It was.
Just the way he was able to distribute the basketball, his pace, the way he played. Even oddly enough, watching some of those possessions, he was talking to Claxton and some of the guys on the back end of the defense, like showing them how to, where to go, what their rotation is. Like the one time he called him on the microphone, he looked at, I remember it was Claxton. He's like, think about it, dummy. I was like, whoa. I was like, okay. I mean, his leadership style is a little bit different, but you could see him trying to take control and do the things that he was trying to do. So back, I'm not sure, but I do think that he's playing a little bit more James Harden-esque. I don't know if he'll be the triple-double guy that he was before, like as far as like his Houston days. But I do think that he's getting closer to the playoff, like the last end of the season / getting close to the playoff run he was last year.
I think the Nets have so much talent that I still think they're trying to play around and figure out what works best for them.
I'm sorry, what?
I said that. I think the Nets have so much talent.
They got like 4 guys, Josh. Let's be real here.
No, for real. I mean, think about it. When they get Joe Harris back, and they get Aldridge back full time, and depending on what happens with Kyrie,
I'm calling audible. LaMarcus Aldridge is washed. He's washed.
my gamer Nick Claxton, who has top 3 dunk of the year last night.
Yeah, he did.
I think what we're going to see is the Nets by the end of the season. They will be the Nets that went into the playoffs last year.
I don't think so.
I do.
I know you do. I feel like when you look at that roster, it's like after the first 4, it is
that. But here's the thing, Tim. That's all you need.
That's true. That first 4 is pretty.
That is
incredible.
all you need. Who's the number 1 team in the East right now? It's Brooklyn.
For now.
Brooklyn. Yeah, and they've got I think James Harden is most entertaining when he's doing everything.
Yeah.
You know, he is most
Yeah.
entertaining when he's doing everything. And when you're playing next to the best player on planet Earth, you can't do that.
He
You
played
got to
for LeBron?
take. Really?
Did you see last night?
I did. He lost. It doesn't matter. Me go out and score 100 points. I wouldn't give a shit if they lost. So, all right. Yeah.
That was basically like his 28 NBA Finals game 1, wasn't it? That was
Yeah.
basically what that was.
I feel like that had like a very swan song feel to it. Like he's like, I gave it everything I had. I'll give you 39.
You know, like when they showed him walking in the tunnel back to the locker room, and his shoulders are like all the way down here.
That's
Yeah.
the feel I
Like,
got. I got the feel of maybe I'll try next year. This is
Pack it in.
I'm done. I'm giving you everything I got here.
What's Randy Quaid saying in Major League 2? Back up the truck, back it up.
That's
hilarious.
And turn it into a parking lot.
I mean, that's the feel I get from LeBron. He's like, dude, I'm doing everything I can. I got Russell Westbrook going to the lane, throwing up shots. Like, I don't even know what he's doing. And now I got to go to the press conference and defend him. Like, oh, yeah, there was a good move. We brought him in when I know it's BS. Oh, my gosh, what am I doing? Like, you can just see it in his shoulders, Tim. You caught it. Like, his shoulders were slumped. I'm like, he's a defeated man. He's got Anthony Street Close Davis standing there on the sidelines looking at him. He's dressed like a kid Davis.
I actually heard a nickname. I laughed my ass off at. Have you guys heard this one? I haven't heard it. It's Anthony Data Davis.
But yeah, he was a defeated man. All right, my bad. Back to the Knicks.
Hey, I do want to say this last night. LeBron outplayed James Harden in the fourth quarter.
Well, he had to. They were down 70.
Yeah, but he was plus 13 to Harden's minus 13, and Harden was 0 of 5 from the field, and LeBron had a field day in the fourth quarter. So it's not like he didn't try to get his team back in the game. And you can't tell me that the Nets roster last night was better than the Lakers roster as far as like what was on the floor.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. But like, after like Carmelo and Malik Monk, you're like, I don't want to watch this team. They suck. Actually, Stanley Johnson played well last night. Of all damn people, Stanley Johnson. All right, I'm done with this shit. We'll get to this later. Let's get to our next topic. Benny boy, you got our first bench god this week, but it's really because I wanted to have this conversation anyway. But so you brought it up. I figured we'd bring it together. It's a unique bench god because Kemba Walker is back in the starting lineup with the Derrick Rose injury. Shocking, but after being taken out of the rotation, we've seen him come back, and he's been terrific this week. 29 against the Celtics. Yeah, they lost. 21 against the Pistons. They did win. 44 against the Wizards. And although had a really rough shooting game against the Hawks on Christmas Day, did rack a triple-double. Mm-hmm. I just want to say I'm glad you did bring this up as president of the Kemba Walker fan club. As we all know, I have not given up on Kemba. So I'm really excited that you brought him up for here. So talk to your guy, Kemba Walker, your bench god this week.
Man, you know what? Honestly, for me, it was just when you have a guy that's had a career like Kemba Walker's. Now, team success-wise, he haven't had a whole lot of success. He's been a very successful player individually in spots. He had that debacle in Boston. He gets moved to New York. They're thinking, hey, this is going to be our point guard of the future. We bring in Derrick Rose to back him up. Like, this is going to be our guy. We got all this young talent here. And he goes through a stretch where he doesn't play at all. Now, for anybody that's played sports or it's been anywhere, it doesn't matter if it's NBA, doesn't matter if it's baseball, it doesn't matter what it is. When you've gone that long and been the star your whole life, and you go from that to not playing at all, that's a huge hit to anybody's ego. So he could have packed it in. Kemba's got enough money, enough clout to say, you know what, I'm not going to be benched. I want to be traded. Or I'm just not going to play. I'm not going to show up tonight. I'll take the fines. I got enough money. I'll take the fines. He could have done any of that stuff. But that guy, when his number was called, he came back and played extremely well. Does it lead to wins for Knicks? They've done all right. But the cool thing about it is watching him kind of bounce back from that setback of being benched to where he's actually been a kind of a pretty cool story to see. So he was my bench god because of the way he came back from the benching and now he's playing pretty well. And he actually put some eyes back on the Knicks, whether they win or not. I mean, because let's all face it, like that Knicks roster, we were hyped about it in the beginning, and now they're just, you know what I mean? Like nobody's really paying attention to the Knicks anymore.
Ben Brown, I beg to differ because you, my man, in our preseason videos, when we said, well, whose stock were we not buying? Which, by the way, I said the Atlanta Hawks. I was right. Suck it. Said the New York Knicks.
Oh, yeah. I definitely, absolutely.
Yeah. So you were right.
I wasn't buying their stock. I just, I definitely wasn't buying their stock because I just didn't think that roster was sustainable. But to see Kemba Walker be able to do that, coming off of kind of being knocked down off a pedestal to be able to play the way he did this last week and a half, it's been pretty cool. So I still won't watch him, but
I won't either.
Yeah, but seeing Kemba Walker do that's pretty neat. So that's why he was.
Did you guys see Kemba's post-game presser?
I did not.
Dude, his fit was so New York. It was so New York.
God. Oh, he looked so good. He looked so good, guys. If you haven't
the purple
checked that
bubble
out,
vest, like, yeah, he looked so New York. Like, he looked so Queens.
No. Hold on. Now I gotta try to find. Oh, Lord have mercy. Are you kidding? Oh,
the Hornets colored Dewey with the purple vest.
Yeah, if that's not screaming New York, Brooklyn. His forehead says Brooklyn, son.
Yo, what's up, B? What's up, God?
Oh my gosh, bro.
That's my son.
Oh, that is 100% New York, dude. Yeah, that's 100% New York. No doubt about it.
It's so New York.
Wow.
I loved it. But yeah, man, I'm with you. As the president of the Kemba Walker fan club, like I said, been hooked since UConn. Love it, man. Love it.
Yeah,
Wanted him really bad to play with LeBron in Cleveland when Kyrie left. Thought it would have been terrific.
Yeah.
LeBron didn't want him.
No, he did. The Hornets didn't want to get rid of him.
Well, yeah, Hornets got on.
What LeBron wants, LeBron gets, man.
Yeah, that was wild. All right, Sean, we're going to bring you in back here because you've got the god of Jonathan Kaminga, which I have a funny story about, by the way, when we talk about what you had here.
Yeah, so, the Golden State Warriors are one of those teams. They're almost kind of Steve Kerr's kind of picking this up from his time at the Spurs, with Greg Popovich being able to, make studs out of guys that people, really weren't thinking too much about. Jonathan Kaminga is that next guy, I feel like. He was able to – he had 12 points in his game last night against the Suns, but that was arguably the game of the year, in my eyes, because they were the two powerhouses, really going at it. But seeing a guy like this, he's 19 years old. He's 6'8". He's built so well. Dude floats through the air when he dunks. He's already a really good defender. And this is a guy that bypassed college. We don't talk about that enough.
Yeah, man.
Like this guy went straight to the G League, and they were able to bring him in and draft him, and they've got him on this team. I feel like a guy like Kaminga is going to be. I think Kevin O'Connor or somebody said that he was like the X factor of Golden State right now, and he very well could be. I mean, we got Clay coming back soon. We're hoping he's going to be Clay, but Golden State has had this thing this year where they've dug deep, and
yeah, they have
Gary Payton II with Jonathan Kaminga. And I feel like he is going to continue onward with his path. He's starting to get more and more minutes each week. He looks great. He looks super in shape. I feel like they've got another stud in the mix.
So I talked to my guy from the Warriors today that I became pretty good friends with over the years from covering games. And I asked him, I was like, I remember I was like, you guys took Kaminga, and a lot of people kind of raised their eyebrows. It's like, you guys look pretty smart right now, obviously. And he's like, yeah, he was like, we were talking about Ignite last year and how everyone was like so mad at how he played. He's like, he came in where he was so used to being the best player on every team he played for.
Yeah.
He was so used to being the guy.
Yeah.
And he's like, when he came in, he learned the Warrior way. he's like, it just changed everything. Like, he's so good perimeter defensive wise. You saw last night as he was cutting to the rim. He's like, and he was just he's figured out how to play our way of basketball, and it's only going to go up from here.
Yeah, he's definitely a stud, man. I think everything that they're doing. If you get a guy that's 19 who is not really quite, the game's not completely built out, but you put them in an environment like the Golden State Warriors right now, and they give it their best effort, and they're doing exactly what they need to do, and they know their role, they are going to be very successful in this league.
I completely agree. Anyone touch on that before we move on?
I think that's the biggest thing, though. You guys both bring up that point, is the Warrior way, the way they play. If you are able, and you see that now, even with Wiggins, like before, he was kind of an individualized player. He gave minimal effort at sometimes, gave max effort at some. He's actually probably had his best year, per se, going towards helping them this year. So they definitely have a different standard and a different way of doing things. And once you fall into that, like it works out well for them.
Remember, like a couple of years ago, we were like, want Toscano Anderson, and now we're like, oh, want Toscano Anderson.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it's
you
great.
know what I've noticed about Golden State, especially these last couple of years with their development. They have Curry, who's a little small at the guard, and they don't really usually have big guys at the center, other than Wiseman, who's not there right now. But then all those tweener guys, they're all about the same size. You start with like Clay, and then you go Iggy, Moody, Green, Anderson, Wiggins, Kaminga, Porter. Like, they're all 6'6", 6'8", really good wing defenders that can kind of switch off, and it makes them super dangerous because they can guard. Like, you see Wiggins guarding centers, and then he'll switch off and guard LeBron, and then he's on a shooting guard, and then he's on a point guard. Draymond, the same thing. So it's almost like they have figured out a way to say, hey, we can be long across the backcourt and the front court both at the same time, and just have a bunch of athletes out there that can play.
Yeah, man. I do think, though, I really, we've talked about it every week now. I love this team. I think they're tremendous. When it gets to the playoffs, they're really going to need James Wiseman back, which it kind of sounds like it's more February-ish. Mm-hmm. But, he's a 7-footer. And in the Western Conference, you've got JaVale, Gobert, Anthony Davis. They're not making the playoffs. Who am I kidding? Jokic. I mean, you go down the list of the Western Conference, and it's like all those teams that are in playoff contention have a 7-footer. So, like, they're going to need that size. And, obviously, like we saw yesterday, which we're going to get to a little later, this Phoenix team's tremendous. They're so good. So I can't wait to talk more about that game down here with you guys. But I got to get my bench got in here. And I'm going to keep the momentum riding from last week of our Cavs love with my guy, Kevin Love. I did not intend to do that pun. It just kind of worked out that way. I apologize, everyone, if you want to leave now.
No, I'm here for it. I like it.
So made his first start tonight against Toronto. And I don't know if you guys looked at the NBA app, but they put a whooping on them.
Yeah.
A whooping.
They did.
Yeah. So Kevin Love got his first start with 22-9. But this year, he's got an effective field goal percentage of 54%. He's shooting 39% from three, and his best he's ever shot from the free throw line, 94%. There's a lot of winners in this. One, obviously Kevin Love, because he's showing he can still play at a good level on a good basketball team. Two, the Cleveland Cavaliers, because now if they do want to move on from that contract, they have more, like, it's going to make that more interesting for people that want to try to potentially trade for him. I don't know if they can just because the contract's so high, but he has played well enough. And three, JB Bickerstaff got a contract extension, and I'm 100% certain it's because he made Kevin Love play good basketball again.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Kevin Love is one of those guys, if the team's doing well, he's engaged.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, he's engaged. And not to say that he wasn't engaged at the beginning of his career with Minnesota. He was. He made the All-Star team there. That's where he made a name for himself and everything. But in these last, like, post LeBron years, where he's been that, like, leftover guy, him and what's the other guy?
Jetty.
Jetty. Yeah, Jetty. Yeah, Osman. they've kind of been the leftovers, and he's one of those guys. He's got his contract. You know, he really could mail it in, but if you're winning games and you're incorporating into that, he's engaged and he's having fun again, which is good for the whole league, because at one point he was
Lost.
at one point he was lost, but at one point he was one of the best players in the NBA.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
remember when we were having conversations like not too long ago? We're like, is Kevin Love washed?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
if the Cavs aren't doing well right now, yeah, he is.
Oh, I agree with that 1,000%.
Yeah, I do agree with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
I
I
do
agree
for
with
sure.
that
Just-
1,000%.
Yeah, he's just collecting a check, and I mean, that's fine, you know. But you know, it's nice to see him out there and actually, you know, playing well and contributing to a team that's winning, a team that I did not think was going to be that great this year, and I think a lot of people did not think was going to be great this year. So
No, man, we talked
they
about it
have-
last week.
it's been a shocker to me, because you know me, I like to throw mountains of shit on Cleveland. So year after year, where Tim just keeps pulling his wine and gold out of the closet a little bit, and then they're bad, and he kind of puts it back and just keeps it there and doesn't tell anybody about it. And now he's probably bringing it out a little bit again.
I did
So
wear
he's
my.
like, I told you guys.
I wore my Cavs LeBron jersey on the show last week when I said
Yeah,
that
you did.
my conspiracy theory was LeBron James would be coming back to Cleveland in a couple years.
Ooh, I like it.
I'm standing by it. So listen to this right now before we get to Josh's bench god. If the season ended the way it is today, of course, which we know there's so much more basketball to play, so I'm not trying to get too far ahead of myself.
Mm-hmm.
The Cavaliers' first round matchup in the playoffs would be the Miami Heat.
Ooh,
Wouldn't that be a blast?
I love it.
Ooh,
I
that'd be a
love
good
it.
one. Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah.
It's like a bunch of ex-girlfriends of LeBron James fighting each other.
You're not
We'll
lying.
see.
Fighting to try to get him back in the finals.
That's right.
Yeah. I bet you remember like when LeBron went back and it was like he was there for the Zydrunas Ilgauskas retirement, and it's like weird he's there at such a random time. If we see him and they're like, we're honoring, you know, like Anderson Varejao, we know what's going on. We know what's going on.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you hear these reports. He's like, he's asking Kevin Love how good Evan Mobley is, and he's really curious about Jared Allen, how is his work ethic. Yeah.
Yeah, you know it's coming. Mm-hmm.
All right, Joshua, you have a really good bench god this week. Actually, I was kind of jealous when you sent it to us. Lonnie Walker,
You know,
the fourth.
It's really funny because I wanted to go with Kevin Love at first. So
I guess that's my fault because I'm the one that sends you guys the topics. So I was like, I'll take Kevin Love. I should have waited. I apologize.
No, you're good. Yeah, man. I'm glad you put up the slide because you've put up everything that I was about to say. He's really came on his last few games. He had two 19-point efforts and a 22-point effort. And then I don't know what he's doing tonight, but you know, the thing that I'm impressed with some of these guys, you know, we tend to take some of these guys week from week, and I was looking at his splits for the season, and he's shooting 40% from the field and 31% from 3-point range. But as you saw on there, he's shooting 50% from the field and 43% from the 3-point range this last week. So he's really elevated his game to kind of help the Spurs out. And the Spurs have, I think they've won 2 of those 3 games, and they are putting a hurting on somebody tonight. I just saw the score. I didn't even see who they were playing. I just saw they were putting a hurting on them. Who'd you say it was, Ben?
The Pistons. Right now it's 139, 104.
Oh, it's the Pistons. Never mind.
He's got 2 minutes left, and he's got 8 points, but he's only had 6 shots.
Oh, yeah.
He's a plus 15.
Wow.
He is.
We'll take it. So, you know, I'm a big fan of. I think we all are still a pretty big fan of Pop. I know people think watching the Spurs play is kind of boring, but in a lot of ways they play real basketball. One of those wins was against the Lakers, by the way. I think where he put up 22.
You don't say. What? The Lakers lost? Come on, Josh. What are you going to tell me next? Keita Bates-Diop dropped 30 points in that game? Oh, he did?
Not good.
But it's a little hard sometimes for Walker to get on the floor a little bit because I do think he plays a little bit of the point guard position sometimes, and obviously he's playing behind Murray. So Murray's been killing it this year.
Dude, he's so good.
He's been a really big bright spot for the Spurs. It just sucks that every year we're used to seeing the Spurs in like playoff contention, and right now they're about 6 games under 500. So it's going to be a long climb for them to try to get back in it.
Yep.
I was looking at the Spurs roster today because we're obviously going through this whole like COVID hardship with 10-day contracts, and I'm like, okay, their roster's a little better than I thought it was. Everyone likes Keldon. Doug McDermott's playing decent for him, and I go, who in the hell is Jock Landale?
You better put some respect on his name, man.
He's got 18 tonight. Jock Landale, whoever you are, kudos on your 18-point game tonight in 16
Hey,
minutes.
man. St. Mary's.
Oh, okay, that's why. Because he played in the same conference as Gonzaga. They don't play anybody. I'm kidding, actually. Their conference is really good this year. We'll tell you about it on At Large Bid.
There you go.
Brandon Ingram got hurt tonight, guys. That sucks.
Oh,
I was going to ask that. I saw he only played like 9 minutes.
Yeah, I guess they said it was a potential Achilles injury. So bring the good news on for Tim's fantasy team as we're bringing these good vibes.
That Pelicans team, man.
Get out while you can. Jeez, Peters, what a mess.
Okay, I know we're trying to move on from talking about the Lakers so much, and I'm trying. I'm gonna have like one last thing later.
No, you're not.
Did you guys see that thing where like after last night, there was a bunch of Pelicans fans that were like, "We obviously won the Anthony Davis trade."
No,
like,
if
brother.
the other team wins an NBA title, you lost. That's the
Not
rule.
to mention, one of the guys you acquired is already gone.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
You traded that draft pick, which was DeAndre Hunter.
Yep,
You lost.
You lost.
They definitely lost. Whoever wins a title first after one of those big trades is the winner, regardless of circumstance, unless the other team ends up winning like 5 titles or something, or more than the other team. But that's why the jury's still out on the Jimmy Butler trade, because no one is really. I mean, Jimmy's made it to the NBA Finals, but they got Zach LaVine, who is now a perennial All-Star and everything, and it's like, hey. If the Bulls made it to the NBA Finals, I think we'd say it was an even swap at this point.
So in June we'll be able to say it's an even swap.
Yes, in June people can say it's an even swap.
I don't know why everyone laughs at me. It's happening.
You're like, Sean, what are you laughing about?
I mean,
I don't know. Probably because I'm a Chicago Bulls fan, and
Sean,
I know nothing.
The Phoenix
but pain.
Suns made the finals last year with everything just falling in place. It's going to happen for the Bulls, all right? Speak it into existence, people.
Okay, all right. Well, when I'm at the game on Friday, I'm going to be trying to bring all the good juju there, we can continue forward. So, any game I've went to with my wife, they've won. So,
there we go.
There we go.
I might actually still be. I'm going to try to go. I'm going to try to get off work early to drive up.
Okay.
By myself and bet on the game because I like doing that now.
Psycho.
Yeah. All right. I want to get kind of like real quick bringing this topic in because obviously, we've hinted at it a couple times. That game yesterday of Golden State and Phoenix lived up to the hype, man. Everything we wanted that game to be, it has. And it's happened. They've played 3 times this year, and all 3 games have been absolutely tremendous. I think here we can all comfortably say they're 2 of the 3 best teams in the NBA, depending how you feel about Brooklyn and Milwaukee. I think Milwaukee looked tremendous yesterday. They were so good, especially like when they came back. But these 2 teams put on quite a show for us. Steph Curry struggled a little bit to get a shot going, but when he did, he was unstoppable. Devin Booker was really good. I mean, JaVale McGee was awesome. He was so good at playing defense. And we talked about Kaminga earlier. Draymond just kind of, keeping everything cool, calm, and collected when they're fighting back and forth. So I kind of want to get your thoughts because we all love Christmas Day basketball tradition. We've done a rewatchable podcast on the Cavs Warriors one from 2016, KD's first game in the rivalry, which was one of it's probably still my favorite Christmas game. But this is definitely up there with that one and Derrick Rose's game winner for the Bulls against LA. So like those are probably my 3, but this was already in my top 3.
Yeah, I thought it was a great game. I think it was the best game of yesterday. I did think that Bucks Celtics game got pretty interesting at the end.
It definitely did.
I had a lot of fun with that game, and also seeing Boston, lose at any time is always a little, especially on Christmas. When my favorite team, which is a better basketball team right now, didn't even have a game on Christmas. So, but anyways, got to see Jaylen Brown chip a tooth and lose. So there was that.
This is going way back for me, but I distinctly remember the Lakers and the Heat playing back when Shaq went to Miami.
Oh yeah,
and he came back in the game. That game went into overtime, and I want to say the Lakers won by 2, right?
Nope.
Heat won.
Dwayne Wade
the Heat won by 2. It was Wade, yeah.
Yep.
But I just remember all that animosity between Shaq and Kobe because he had just left, after they got beat down. And I didn't know how that was going to go. That one sticks in my head. I know, and as before, I feel like they made the Christmas games super famous. Now we have the whole half of the schedule on Christmas Day where you see 8 games, 10 games.
Yeah.
But that one sticks out to me a lot.
That's a really good one.
That is a good one. That is a good one. But I will say this. I think yesterday's game, it was probably the two most entertaining teams that kind of play similarly. You know what I mean? They're both 3-point shooting. They both play basketball the right way. It was interesting watching them go back and forth the entire game. And I mean, it was one of those games that was great that didn't have to go into overtime for it to be great. It was this is how it's going to be. And when you see somebody like Otto Porter, who, I like Otto Porter. He had kind of a weird time in Chicago, but he is the perfect fit for that Golden State Warriors team.
So
He is one of those guys who can just nail shots when you need him to, and he's not afraid to take those shots. And the team's cool with him taking them, and it's they look great. And on top of that, Steph had his best Christmas Day game ever, which is surprising because he usually is historically not that great on Christmas.
He mentioned that himself.
Which is weird. So we always forget that.
I feel like the Nets-Lakers game was supposed to be the game of games had everybody been healthy. Minus the COVID restrictions, and you have the big 3 on one side, the big 3 on the other, the Lakers roster versus the Nets firepower up front. That was the kind of the game I think in the beginning everybody was looking forward to, and then it kind of fell apart. Where the only people that you saw was Harden versus LeBron, and that was it because Westbrook didn't show up at all.
He's washed.
And the first half of that game, we were texting back and forth, and it was I was I can't even watch this, man. This is bad. This is bad basketball. Other than James Harden, everything else in the game was just bad.
Ben, you're muted.
My bad. How did that happen? I went back and distinctly, because we were going to talk about this, I wanted to look back and remember some of the games that I had seen, but I had forgotten about. So, and this goes way back. So, back in '95, the Orlando Magic played Houston, and I remember distinctly watching that game because I love Shaq. So I was like, oh man, I'm gonna watch this game. And before even then, of course, everybody was about the Bulls, and because the Bulls were, the '90s team of the '90s and all that stuff. But I just remember watching that game and being like, oh man, this team is so good, and it was fun to watch them because they beat the Rockets that day, which that was a finals replay. So, so that one, of course. LeBron's first year in Miami in 2010 was a great one versus the Lakers. And then, like you said before, the 2016, Cavs Warriors, that was to me was my favorite all-time Christmas game.
Yeah,
so good. Also, can we just all agree that we need to bring back Christmas jerseys?
Yeah, yes. What happened with that? Why is that not a thing anymore?
Let's ask Nike. Nike, if you're watching, which we know you're not, but if you're watching.
Somebody tweeted that right after the game. One of the games, they were like, why do we not have Christmas jerseys?
That, I think it was Zach LaVine said that. Where are the Christmas? Why would he not have Christmas jerseys?
Yeah.
You know how many Christmas jerseys would sell?
Dude.
Because people enjoyed those.
I went on eBay yesterday to try to find the 2015 Cavs one. and the one that LeBron's wearing in the new My Team card.
Yeah.
And dude, it's like a $300 jersey for a screen print on eBay.
Ooh.
Ben, you know what? Now that you say that, I was just sitting here thinking the Christmas game with Golden State in Cleveland, was that not the like a repeat of Kyrie hitting the 3-pointer in the finals and then turning around and hitting the game winner on Christmas Day?
And a turnaround jumper.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, that game was incredible. It was the debut also of the Kyrie 4 and the LeBron 14.
Yep.
For you sneakerheads out there.
I
The KD 9 Christmas, that was a sweet shoe. Yeah, you feel me.
feel you.
Yeah. But yeah, man, but like I said, like I remember so well the Derrick Rose game winner against the Lakers. Is like the year he won MVP. That was so awesome when he hit the floater. That's an all-time favorite of mine. So this is a new bench mob tradition. Our last segment of the night. This is our Hoop Year's resolutions. It's a pun on New Year's resolutions. Again, if you hate puns, this is not the show for you. I am not the host for you. But we kind of want to go through here and kind of discuss like our situations of what we really want to see the most of and what our game plan is to find in basketball this upcoming year. And Ben's got a good start here for us.
Yeah, I think my new Hoops year's resolution is just finding the good and bad basketball. And Tim, I know you had mentioned that because you said you were going to stop watching the Lakers, but my kind of view is like, man, like I love the Pacers. I love that roster. They're not playing very well. In fact, they're losing to your Bulls tonight, I believe. But I just want I love watching Sabonis play, LeVert play. I like the parts of that team. I just wish that it would end up in wins, but it's not going to. But I do enjoy the team, so that's my resolution. Like I know it's not, I know it's about wins and losses, but I really do enjoy that Pacer team before they break it all up and they all go different places. Like I do like Miles Turner, I do like Sabonis, even though I don't think he's going to end the year as a Pacer.
Tonight.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, like I know they're losing to the Bulls tonight. Like I know they haven't played the greatest basketball, but I do love that team, and I do like that roster. But for some reason, it's just not clicking. So, but hopefully, there's a lot of season left, and maybe they'll put a little run together. But I don't think it'll be with Sabonis. I do think they're probably going to move him, but which would suck. But I'm trying to find some good and some bad basketball.
To add to that, I do love me some Chris Duarte.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love me some Chris Duarte.
Yeah. He's been a really bright spot this year. Not only offensively but defensively, he's played really well. So
yeah. So Ben, you discussed finding the good and bad basketball. And mine is for the sake of my mental health. Tim's Hoop Year resolution is to stop watching the Lakers because Russell Westbrook is as washed as Terrell Owens was in Cincinnati.
Oh, that's a good analogy.
Russell Westbrook is as washed gets. He is.
Is he? Hold on. Is he washed, or is he
washed.
just? Is he? Hold on. But is he washed, or is he just like? He just is not a good fit for that roster.
No, he's washed. If you make $44 million and you can't contribute, you're washed. You're washed because no one's going to trade for you. So
yeah, that's true.
Stick him in the corner, let him shoot threes.
Yeah,
he can knock those down.
buddy, he was in the corner last night and missed Patty Mills wide open for 3 as he had 30 points already.
Yeah.
But, look, the only reason to watch this team anymore is LeBron and Carmelo just having these like flashback nights where they're just playing unbelievable. Melo was terrific last night on Christmas Day, obviously coming off the bench, even playing some good defense, had some block shots. I know Josh is like the big Melo guy here for his career, so I know he's going to defend him. But I thought he was really good, but it's not fun anymore, man. Like we knew that this could potentially go bad and we kind of spoke on the brighter side of it, but it has been as bad gets. 538 currently hasn't projected, only win 36 games this year. To put in context, they have 16 right now. So they think they're only going to win 20 more games.
Wow.
And there's no trade, there's no one's going to be like, I'll take Russell Westbrook. So like, this is over. It's over.
Trade him for Kyrie.
No one's going to do that though. Why would
Get
the Nets do that?
Get the original big three back together.
There's no way that
the Nets are going to compete for the East. Why would they want Russell Westbrook?
Yeah.
Well, they're not getting anything from Kyrie. Maybe Kyrie will go ahead and get the shot and then come and play in LA. Who knows?
If I'm
I
the
wouldn't.
Lakers, I would try to get Kemba Walker. $2
Oh.
million that the Knicks are playing him right now. I would call. I would at least call.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you could throw Russ out there, right?
No.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, you could. Yeah, you could.
You can't trade $44 million for $2 million, John.
Well, no, I know that, but I'm just saying you could if you made some money work, you might be able to, and you get Russ and D Rose back together, man. They used to be workout buddies.
Like, listen, I agree with Tim to a sense. Like I don't know if he's washed, but like there's honestly nothing you can do with the guy. Like he's not good for the Lakers. You can't move him. You can't trade him. You can't bench him. Like, what do you do with that?
Okay. Who would you rather have on your team right now? Okay. Russell Westbrook or Ben Simmons?
Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons. Okay.
Not even a question.
Okay. They're getting nothing in Philly from Ben Simmons right now, and he wants to be traded. He needs to. We could talk days and nights about this.
No way Westbrook and Embiid play together. There is no way. They will murder each other.
Yep, I agree with that.
I feel like he figured it out with the Wizards, man. Like towards the end of the season, like I felt like they just figured it out. I know they lost in the playoffs, but like they went on that run to get into the playoffs.
They did.
And him and Bradley Beal figured out how to play together. And I know that the trade happened, but I'm like, why not see where it was going to take you?
Imagine like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Kyle Kuzma, JaVale McGee, all on this Lakers team. Isn't that a crazy thought?
I think sometimes though, man, and this is not a swipe at LeBron by any.
No, this is his fault. This is totally his fault.
But yeah, I think
Always
I do think it's his fault. But I think sometimes for younger players, like I think sometimes he stunts the growth of younger players. Just in the simple like Kuzma, like you're telling me that those young guys who are doing a pretty decent job in DC that they couldn't help this team this year. No, you want to bring in
Lonzo Ball.
Yeah, like Lonzo Ball. You know what I mean? Like I don't get it. I think sometimes it is a.
Look,
our first YouTube comment of all time on the Bench Mob. Black Order. You are the man. We love you forever. Thank you for commenting.
But yeah, I think he stunts the growth of younger players. He brought in these older guys. He's got all these older guys with him, and it's not producing wins. I don't know.
I want you guys to think about this, and this is not a knock on LeBron, but the Wizards are sitting in the 7th spot in the Eastern Conference, right now. Mm-hmm. They're tied with Philly. Charlotte's in the 8th spot. We've been talking all this hype around Charlotte and how fun they are to watch, and they're 500.
Yeah.
The Washington's behind Cleveland, who's got 20 wins, but is Washington really that much better than they were last year when they had Westbrook? And then you take the Lakers and like they're a world's worse than what they were last year at this point, just based off of everything that's going on. So you think about it, you don't make that trade and let's say you still get all the Melo to come in and you still get all those other guys, but Trez, Pope, Trez was your energy guy off the bench who gave you solid minutes until the playoffs, and you decided not to play him anymore.
You likely get Buddy Hield because that deal was on
you likely get Buddy Hield. Pope was a great defender. He did a lot of the dirty stuff. Kuzma,
he was going to Sacramento if that trade happened.
Correct.
Yeah,
right.
But then you get Buddy Hield, and now you're a whole different basketball team. You maybe keep JaVale McGee, and he's your backup instead of who, Tim? Instead of who?
DeAndre Jordan.
And I feel like the Lakers are sitting right there with Phoenix and Golden State, minus injuries.
Yeah. By the way, once again, I want to say before we move to Josh's, this is not Frank Vogel's fault. All right, Josh.
It-
Your hoop
You're
year's
absolutely
resolution kind of goes with what I was just talking about.
Yeah, so my hoop year's resolution is to appreciate LeBron's greatness more than I do, because I pick apart his flaws all the time, and I never, you know, I never gravitate towards like all the good that he does. So even last night, him putting up like 39, 9, and 8. I was trying to find ways to pick his game apart, and I'm like, how do you
At
pick
age
that apart
37.
at age 37? And I'm missing out on all the like I said, this guy's a walking 25, 7, and 7 in his sleep at 37 years old. Like, I don't think that's something that we've seen consistent in the NBA, almost maybe ever. And I'm one of those people. I'll admit it. Like, I'm still here trying to protect the legacy of the other 23.
Well, LeBron wears
but
6 now, so you're fine.
He does, but I'm saying, like, in all that, I'm not witnessing what is actually happening. So 2 years from now, when he's not playing, I'm going to go back and be like, well, damn, I was so
like
much
7
trying
years
to.
from now?
Yeah, I'm going with 2. I was
With
so much
2.
trying to, hate on the guy,
Oh.
saying that, he's not the greatest, and I don't need to do that. I just need to watch what he does and just appreciate it while he's there.
Yeah.
By the way, can we just show Black Order's comment again? I just love it. It's so funny. It's so funny.
That's awesome.
Our first YouTube comment on a live stream yet during an episode of the Bench Mob. So Black Order's the MVP.
Amen.
All right. So Sean wraps us up here with his hoop year's resolution, which is a good one.
Watch more Warriors games, which is going to be a thing here because we're going to be getting out of football season soon. We're going to be getting into, the springtime. We're going to have those nice Sunday matinees, things of that nature, where we can watch some teams. So I don't watch that many Warriors games unless they're playing on the East Coast, but I need to start staying up and watching more because these guys are back, and I enjoyed them thoroughly during their rivalry with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and was watching them a lot more back then. And I feel like we're kind of back to that's which is awesome. This is definitely, it's kind of the same as Josh's comment. This is definitely like we need to appreciate these guys as well, because a lot of people we all thought that the window was shut a couple years ago, and it seemed like it was
not
shut.
Not all of
injuries.
And, not all of us. Not all of us
okay,
thought it was shut.
Okay.
I just want to say
A lot of us did.
I think truly they have the greatest fan base of all time. Because like when they were having that year, that year where they were just atrocious, when like Steph's hurt, they don't have Clay, they don't have Draymond, KD's left, D'Angelo Russell gets traded because it's not a good fit. They literally were just like, their fans were like, give us time, we'll be fine. It wasn't like Steve Kerr needs to be fired and Bob Myers is doing it. Yeah, they were like, okay, we'll figure it out soon. Don't worry about it. And then the next year, of course, they go in the play-in, they lose, and they're like, no, next year we'll be fine. Like next year we'll be okay. And they were like, told you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
Absolutely.
I'm with you, Sean. I'm not a Golden State fan by no means. Like, they're not my favorite team. Sorry, I'm not a fan of Golden State. Like, they're not my favorite team. I don't like going out and trying to buy jerseys and tickets. But I'm with you. Like, they're the epitome of like why you should watch basketball.
Yep.
And people hate them because they're good at basketball and they play it right. They play the game right. And I heard somebody trashing Curry the other day, and they were like, he wouldn't be that good if his team wasn't set up to set him screens, and, he wasn't running around, and Draymond's always looking for him. And I was like, do they play in a system? And I was like, even though you look at it, like Curry gets his shots, but then you still have Jordan Poole over here hitting for 30. And then you still have, like you said, Otto Porter Jr. the other day. He's hitting game-winning shots and like big shots in the fourth quarter. So it's not like they're designed to get the ball to the open person, and that person is taking a shot. So I'm with you, man. I enjoy watching them play. When they play at night, I try to stay up and at least watch some of the game. because I know I'm going to
Yeah.
watch good basketball. And even when they play bad, like they're still in games.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They'll be
Yeah.
like down like 12 in the fourth quarter, and you're like, well, I have to keep watching.
Right. Just to see what they're
Yeah.
going to do.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love it. So I'm with you, Sean. Like, I'm going to stay up and watch more Warriors games, especially since I work from home at my day job. That makes it a little easier for me to watch more games. So, yeah, I am with it, man. But with that being said, we're going to go and wrap up this week's edition of the Bench Mob. I hope everyone has an awesome new year. Shot callers is taking the week off, so there will not be a shot callers on Friday. At large bid will probably be Tuesday this week. We're still working out the details because I got games this week. But very excited that I'll be see future top 10 pick Patrick Baldwin Jr. in person this week, covering NKU. So can't wait to get
There
my
you
scouting
go.
reports on Pat Baldwin in person. So thank you all so much for tuning in, and to Black Order. Once again, thank you so much for your comment because this is hilarious.
We won't see anybody until 2022.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Happy New
Hope-
Year.
Happy New Year. Hope
Happy
you all
New
get your
Year,
hoop
everybody.
year's resolutions. See ya.